Hello and welcome to Wednesday Waffle from Desmond's Donders. So what are we going to talk about this week? Well, the usual, what we've been up to, our upcoming videos, the waffle, and obviously I'm going to close down. But I'm ill prepared this morning. But before we go anywhere, we've got some stickers. RVing across America. It's a card and a sticker. Now they can be found on Facebook and Instagram. It says so on the sticker. Worth a look. And we also have me with a lack of brain. There you go. You see it? The motorhome miles. I nearly forgot to tell you who it was, didn't I? Even though you could see it on the sticker. And we got a nice little letter from them. Thanks for the swap, and maybe see you about in September when we should be up that way. So hopefully you've got to meet up with them. Go and check out their channel. Worth a visit, just like mine is. So, apart from stickers, what have we been up to? Well, those stickers will end up on the sticker door, and which is filling up. If you'd like a sticker, contact me, direct message, email, Instagram, faceache, anyway, and we can arrange to do a swap. It was a funny week. We thought we would go to one place, then we decided to go to another, and then we went back to the original place. That all happened not during the week, but on Friday morning. But we went to the original place I planned, and what a spot. It's a new spot to us, near St John's Kirk, near Gardenston, and it was just an amazing place. Peaceful, quiet, welcoming locals. They have had some bad camper vans there, but seem to have ways and means of dealing with that. Well worth a visit to the old kirkyard, and some amazing views of Cribby and Gardenston. And the videos will be out soon. You're looking at probably into July, but I hope you enjoy them when they come out. So, upcoming videos. Plan B on Friday. If you saw the first video, an unexpected treat, and nobody spotted the misspelling, you might have to go back and watch it again to check. Okay. This one is called Plan B. Is it always a worse plan? And for me, the divers we saw on this trip were a highlight and well worth watching the video for. Next week we start a couple of new videos. Monday, Camor Capers, another new spot for us. We meet up with Vicky and Bernie from Campervan Capers. You see what I did with the name there. And have a wonderful day. Wednesday, more waffle. And on Friday, caching Camor. It's just the video from that weekend. Meeting up with friends, we do some geocaching, etc, etc. Now, I can stop looking at my running notes and talk briefly about something, but then I'm going to have to read, I'm sorry, mainly because there's so much of it and it's historic information rather than waffle. But my bit of waffle before we start is about the RAF aircraft engineering trades and their nicknames. You see, we had the Electricians and their known penchant and friendship with dogs. We have the two engine nicknames depending on how long you've been in and what you worked on. You have sooties and sumpies. The sooties used to work on the jet engines, and there's some piece on the gas engines, the petrol engines. They were called both and interchanged and dependent, but on a jet squadron they'd normally all be called sooties. And then you had the airframes guys, riggers as they were called. Then the historic element from that obviously comes from when the aircraft were rigged, like in World War One, when they were biplanes, etc., and they had rigging, etc. Fairly straightforward. And then you have the navigational instruments. This is when I was first in the Air Force. Navigational instruments, air radio and air radar. Collectively called fairies. And they later became one trade, avionics, and I did a cross-training course to bring in the nav instis to my air comms, air radar splitty. I was called a splitty because it was a split brain. One half was comms, one half was radar. So there's a logic between all these nicknames the Air Force have. But then why were they called fairies? Well, it was because of the badge that the comms and radar wireless people wore. Up until they merged the trades, the nav instis didn't have the badge, but they were lumped in with the fairies because they worked on electronics. Now it's a single trade, avionics. I presume every tradesman wears that badge. Although it was avionics when I was there, most of the people I worked with were comms, radar, insti, and were not awarded the badge. Now the rest, so I'll show the badge at this point here. It'll take up the screen, and I'm just going to read now some of the history of that badge. You'll see from the shape of the fist and sparks, or you'll have seen from the shape of the fist and sparks that it looks possibly like a winged fairy. But I'll just read it and what it says. One of the unique features of airmen serving a wireless trade is that they wear a badge on the sleeves of their uniform to signify their belonging to any of the several radio and radar trades. It was the first trade badge and the only continually used trade badge to be authorised by the Royal Air Force. A consensus of opinion suggests that originally these were worn by signallers up until 1918. Ordinary ranks could not address an officer without first speaking to an NCO. Through the First World War, for the first time, this was often obstructive when many things were happening at once. Consider that the First World War was the first war to simultaneously utilise no less than 3 armed services in the same war. Fast, effective and efficient correspondence was necessary to coordinate their efforts. A signaller wished to pass on vital information then had to first pass it on to the corporal, who then passed it to his sergeant, who then was given to the relevant officer. A clumsy arrangement and fraught with problems if the message was verbal. On the 18th of September 1918, the Air Ministry, in its wisdom, came up with this solution. Signallers would be issued with cloth badge, originally in red worsted and embroidery, to be worn on their tunic, giving the wearer the authority to speak, address or pass on a communication of any sort directly. The same badge, while the wearer was on duty, would excuse them from repeatedly saluting the officers if there were more than one over in the messaging sequence. It was later worn by air gunners who combined the duties of wireless operators while flying, and was soon being worn by anyone who could claim the remotest connection with wireless and electricity, becoming known as the Sparks badge. Its proliferation was encouraged by numerous unauthorised versions produced privately, the fist being replaced by RO for radio operators, WM for wireless mechanic, and E for electrician. It's them again. There was a proposal in 1949 to abolish the badge, but it survived, and in 1951 was authorised for wear by airmen and airwomen of all ground signalling and radio engineering trade groups with the requisite pass on their basic training course. There exists Ministry of Supply and Air Ministry documents showing that this badge was manufactured and issued, but nothing stated officially about the reason for issue. It seems they were just generally accepted rules of conduct. The badge is in use in today's Royal Air Force. There you go, the Fist and Sparks badge. There is a Facebook group dedicated to that, so if you're watching this and you're entitled Fist and Sparks, look it up and join. It's a great little group and looked after well by the moderators in there. And remember, it's a varied group of different RAF people. You've got the air trades like myself and the ground trades and operators, etc. that are in there, and it works well. Great group, well worth seeing. So that's the waffle. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like the little bit of background. And no, I won't tell you what the Electricians' nickname is. I just won't. No. The as I say, told you where we've been. I've waffled, told you what videos are coming. So at that point, it's time for me to clock off and show you some drone footage.
Thank you for watching Desmond's Donners. And remember, please take nothing but memories and leave nothing but tracks. Please subscribe and ring the bell for notifications, and hopefully we'll see you next time.